Hello and welcome to the Horror Hangout, everybody, where film fans gather to talk about the best and worst the genre has to offer. My name is Andy Conduit-Turner, and today I am joined by a very special guest, Johannes Roberts, the writer-director of upcoming new release, Primate. Johannes, how you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. I'm just wondering whether whether I'm here for the best or the worst of.
Well, spoilers. I was lucky enough to see it. No spoilers for the plot, of course, everyone. Don't block your ears. I'm going to call it early, weeks before we do our episode on this, Johannes.
Yeah.
One of the best. I really liked it.
Did
I
you?
thought
Yeah,
Primate was
good.
excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Fun is.
so obviously, let's not bury the lead. We're here to talk about Primate today, which launches in UK cinemas at the very end of January. But Janus, no, you're no stranger to the horror genre, right? You have been from zombie movies to franchise stuff to a reminder to turn your phone off at Fright Fest
Oh yeah,
to
good. Yeah,
creature features.
yeah.
Where did it all begin for you as a filmmaker before we dive into the film of the week, Primate?
Yeah. As a I think there were sort of several really big moments. I think finding Tolkien and the intensity of that, and the siege mentality of being orcs attacking you, then led to finding Stephen King. Once I'd finished all the Tolkien world, I found Stephen King, and with Stephen King, I found Cujo, and then Cujo, I found the film. And when I watched that movie, that was like, I want to do that. I want to do what this guy's doing because it's manipulating me. It's scaring me, but it's manipulating me into what I think's where the dog is, and I was like, I could just. It was the first time in my life I was like, oh yeah, that's great. As a older brother who's constantly would be playing tricks on my sisters and stuff. I was like, yeah, I want to do that. So that was really it. I mean, to be honest, the moment of film was Platoon was just
Wow.
like a light bulb in my head of like, oh my God, this is crazy, this movie. And then discovering all the Stephen King movies and then John Carpenter. There's so many sort of different, I could go on forever about all these stuff. But yeah, Cujo's the movie that lit a fire in me to become a film director.
Well, and then it feels like almost with the film itself, the film we're talking about today, Primate, that the parallel lines there and I mean, we'll talk about the brutality of it, we'll talk
Yeah,
about the scares of it, but there's an inherent sadness about it as
yeah,
well,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
It, and that's a very tricky one. With a movie like this, it's how far, how much can you push? How far do you go? Where are your audience? What are they in for the ride for on a movie like this? But yeah, there's definitely you have the same parallels that Cujo has of something that a pet within the family, a part of someone's life that then is turning bad, but not because they want to.
yeah, there's not like a moral choice there.
Uh,
There is an illness, and I guess it also ties into the work you've done in the zombie genre as well, the loss of humanity
yeah,
or the
yeah,
the manners we have of society that all fall apart based on an infection or something.
yeah,
But for those who haven't heard about it, certainly you know when something has crossed over from horror fans to the general consensus, the general population. I mentioned to some people in the pub yesterday
yeah.
that I'd been to see Primate and eyes across the bar, like the barman knew what we were talking about. Some people on the other table leaned over and said, "Oh, you've seen that." I don't I wasn't in a horror themed bar. I was
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
regular pub, so
Oh, that's
it's
great.
obviously getting a lot of buzz, a lot of
Okay,
sort of
that's
interest.
wonderful. It's interesting because I'm English, but I live in Los Angeles, and my career has been very successful in America. Um, but it doesn't necessarily correlate to England. I mean, it's had its 47 meters down did well here, but it didn't do the equivalent of what it did in America. But I feel Primate has, there's something about that movie that has really, it's funny being back in England now doing press and, that there is a connection with that movie. So I'm really excited to see how it starts to play.
Yeah. I mean, for those who haven't seen the synopsis, so Primate is the story of a young woman coming home from a time away at college with some friends to a home in Hawaii. They have an unusual pet in Ben, the chimpanzee, who has been trained to communicate with humans by her mother, a linguistic professor. She has a deaf, non-speaking father as well, who communicates with the ape as well. And he, unfortunately, becomes unwell and becomes a danger while they're having a classic teenage party
Yeah.
while they've got the house to
The,
themselves.
the one time you should not have a classic teenage party was
No.
was that night.
The two worst. I mean, usually, what's the worst happens? You spill something on the
Yeah.
carpet.
Yeah.
Someone pulls the curtains down.
Yeah. No.
Very rarely does
Does a chimpanzee get rabies?
go berserk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So there we are. I know you've had some early screenings as well. You screened what your UK premiere was
It's tonight.
London.
It's
Oh,
tonight.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought you had some festival screenings, sort of Fright
Oh,
Fest,
yeah. I mean,
Halloween.
the movie has played a lot. It's came out 2 weeks ago in America and was, went to number two, so it was my biggest, hit there, which was great. And then it has played um the festival thing, which is not normally something that uh, my films do. They're in very much a sort of commercial sort of thing, but this movie has played every festival. I mean, it's just been incredible. And the Fright Fest guys did a wonderful Halloween screening here
Hmm.
where it went crazy. Um, uh, yeah, it's played a couple of times here, which has been really fun to see because I find if there's a tough crowd, it's the English crowd or the British crowd is tough, tough, tough with horror. Like, I remember testing Strangers here, and oh, oh, that was brutal. So when we came to this movie and the way it's connecting, it's like, oh, okay, that's great that people are.
That's really good. I feel it has a good sort of festival audience vibe to it as well. I feel it's a
Yes,
film that is one of those great movies. You have some moments in that film where you want to glance at the person
yeah, yeah, yeah,
next to you. You want to nudge your partner in the cinema and
yeah,
look at what their reactions are
yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, and I can only imagine, sadly, well, not sadly, very luckily, I got to see a local press screening up in Glasgow near where I live. I wasn't able
okay,
to
yeah,
make
yeah,
it to
yeah, yeah.
London for Fright Fest Halloween, but everyone we spoke to who was there, once they'd finished making us feel bad for not being able to make it,
Yeah,
really, really positive about the atmosphere watching it in that cinema
yeah, yeah, yeah.
with everyone. Have you been able to see it with an audience yourself
Oh,
yet? Have you
yes,
crept into the back?
yes. No, it's this is a really interesting one for me because normally when I finish post-production, that's it. I'm done, and I never go back. I mean, occasionally I'll catch it on TV, or maybe they'll do like a 4K of one of the movies, and I'll want to watch and see how it looks. Uh, but this one is so much fun to listen. I don't need to see the movie. I just like listening to the audience because it's such a vocal movie. Like the screams and the shouts and the laughter and the like I've had people stand up and scream at at Ben, the chimpanzee,
Yeah.
and it's yeah. There's certain moments, key moments in that film that are just to me as a filmmaker who is you know deliberately playing with an audience. That's what this movie is. I'm saying, look, give me your money and I'll give you a show and I'll give you a ride. It's music to my ears. It's just so much fun to listen to that. So yeah, I did a couple of the festivals and I've done uh a couple of screenings, cinema screenings. So it's really good. It's great that it's crossing over from the festival to the a real audience or not.
Yeah, and I can share the visceral reactions. Bearing in mind I was watching it at on a Monday lunchtime
Yeah.
in Glasgow. There was a moment where, had I not been absolutely trained by British society, where you're very quiet in the
Yes.
cinema, I
Yeah. Yeah.
certainly don't stand up. But I had some hands clasped over the mouth
Yeah.
moments
Oh,
where there
that's
was some
wonderful.
truce, and even though like we've done almost 500 episodes of a horror podcast.
Yeah.
We have seen many more films than that.
Yeah.
And so for me, a great triumph is if something, even by the tropes, and because you're watching a horror film, you can expect something unpleasant is going
Yeah.
to happen to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Even then, to be like,
Yeah.
what's happening with this poor
Yeah.
guy? And I
Yeah.
think also like we're particularly, I think we can relate here growing up in the UK. I'm not sure if the US has the same amount of traumatic television about things that can go wrong. I'm of a watching 999 generation.
Yeah. 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 And rabies was always in this country was always like when I grew up, it was because we didn't have it in England,
Yeah.
was this terrifying, not that there is something that isn't terrifying about getting rabies, but it was this kind of non-tangible, intangible, like once you leave the shores of Britain, everybody has it. Like I sort of
Yeah.
grew up with that generation. It was
It's up there with quicksand, right? As the
yeah,
things that
yeah,
will
yeah,
get
yeah,
you if you turn your back for a second,
yeah, 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 yeah. Both things have been less troublesome in my life than I
that you were led to
led
believe.
to believe. Yeah,
Um, I mean, let's talk about Ben a little bit,
yeah,
if we may. A really interesting choice, and I think an incredibly positive one, to have it played by your actor Miguel, who
yeah,
played Ben as a man in a fantastically made, I must say,
yeah,
costume, and in a world where we don't really see real live action apes on screen because of all kinds of absolutely legitimate moral
yeah,
reasons,
yeah,
and unless you want to triple your budget for animated
yeah.
effects, it seems like the suit was a phenomenal option. It played to great effect. How did you come to those decisions?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I mean I've got the poster just here, but beside the press thing, and I'm looking at the bed is the cover, and talking to you, it seems now like it was a no-brainer, and of course we were going to go there, and it's really the weird thing is it's only that moment that we finished the movie and tested it first, put it in front of an audience. I like to see right early doors to see how even the roughest cut is playing with an audience. It's fun for me. It's heartbreaking, or scary, but it's fun to see how that works. And it was only then that we knew Ben was working. Like any problems they had, it wasn't with Ben, but we, you know, choosing that way and then shooting it, there were some nerve-wracking moments where you're like, is this, is it working? Is it not? But uh, it was such a great, decision and so great to be backed to do that. Like we shot a test, very early on to get the movie greenlit, sent it to Paramount. This small test where we tried. It wasn't the suit that we're using here, but we tried a rough version and did some, you know, sort of scary skits just to show that you could do it as a practical thing, and that's what got the movie greenlit. But it was, yeah, it's a tough thing, it's a guy in a suit, but Miguel, it's he just he just became chimp. He became full chimp, and so it was just an amazing experience to be able to to have your monster there. And it really, with horror, it's so hard when you don't have that. I do the 47 movies, and obviously the sharks are never there, and it's tricky. And with this, I needed that personality, and Miguel brought that personality, and the movie really became something more than it was on the page because of that, because of Miguel's performance and his interaction with the other cast. And then, yeah, it was it sort of just made the movie what it is. Like his character, that movie's going to live because it's iconic. You know, he is such a
Yeah.
he's such a shit. He's so mean and full of malice, and it's just so fun to watch sometimes. How despicable he is.
Yeah, I think it's such a wonderful credit when an actor can truly disappear
Yeah,
into like I could watch that and at no point watching Primate did I think, oh, well,
yeah,
I
yeah,
knew it was a man
yeah,
in a suit, obviously, but at no point did I feel like this is distracting. I know this is a
yeah,
guy in
yeah.
a suit. As far as I was concerned, watching the movie,
It's great. Yeah,
it's there is an ape there that's
yeah,
trying to get these poor teenagers.
yeah,
And like I say, I think it also comes across very well. There is that sadness in that the two girls of the family in particular
yeah,
live in the house. They know him and they have a
yeah,
very different relationship with him than a scary animal that if oh, this ape has broken out of the zoo, that's dangerous.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's incredibly well done. One more point on your cast as well. So Troy, who plays the father, when you were writing, because I know you write on
Yeah.
your movies quite a lot as well, was the character always written as deaf and then you
No,
cast later, or was it from meeting him that you chose to
yeah,
adapt the character?
it was the character wasn't in it at all, and then as we went into production, it was a real kind of feel like we need to have a more adult presence within the movie, not just to be teenagers, and so really built up his role, and then it was like, okay, uh, and he'd obviously just done Coda and stuff, and it just seemed to be like, oh, that could be a really cool idea, just in terms of he's great actor.
Yeah,
And when he jumped at it, then it was like, okay, I have to try and work out how to translate this into like change the role into someone that's deaf. And then it just opened up this whole sonic, uh, or lack of sound
hmm
that he had so much fun getting into, and it really it was made for some great set pieces. But
yeah,
the movie's a very organic movie in terms of, you know, I like having everything really structured, but we were constantly shifting and like, okay, yeah, let's take this and move that. That's really working. Let's play with that side of things. So it's good when you have a good team, you can do that. Um, it isn't we were that good together that we would allow ourselves to like, okay, let's follow that path. That's really great. And I love watching his scene. He's such a he's a wonderful human being, and he's a wonderful actor. So
I can't say that I'd seen much of his work before, but you really does come across on screen, and this isn't shade by omission for anyone else
yeah,
who plays in the movie, but I think he has such a powerful on-screen
yeah,
presence, and then because of the way he communicates and how that juxtaposes with how Ben is able to communicate,
yeah,
obviously as well, you sort of feel that connection. Obviously, you see them spend time together as
yeah,
well. Like it feels that he has another level of
yeah,
relationship
yeah, yeah.
with
Agreed.
Ben as well, which really comes across when you see them spend time together and
Yeah,
then they're
yeah, yeah,
I will not spoil any particular scenes as we
yeah,
get there. But so for those people at time of listening, by the time this comes out on our feeds, Primate should be out in UK cinemas this very week, everybody. So I do recommend going to see it, not just because you should support your cinemas. It's a great deal of fun, and I think one that is definitely one to see at a cinema on a big screen. I don't know how everyone's cinema sound is equipped, but the theater I saw it in, it's not one of those 4DX screens where you strap yourself in and you get shaken around, but the bass on the cinema, the
yeah,
sound work that was done, you could feel it in your chair, almost a heartbeat as you're getting towards some of those the high tension scenes where some terrible violence is about to come
yeah, yeah, yeah.
breaking out upon us all, and it led for ever such great atmosphere. As I say, lunchtime on a Monday, and I was fully locked in
That's brilliant.
on this one here. I want to make sure that we don't start running into your next appointment, Johannes. I have one final
Yes.
question for you, possibly the hardest one of all. Given the type of film, you're having a little put a twist on it too. So, You're a filmmaker, you're a someone who is known in the horror
Yeah,
genre. I host a podcast called the Horror Hangout. So if people are coming to your house to
yeah.
hang out and they're going to watch a horror movie, it's a movie night, mixed crowd come into your house. The pressure's on you. What are you putting on for them?
Do you know what? I will go. The movie I always sort of go, even if it's a mixed crowd, I go In the Mouth of Madness.
Okay, wow. Good
Um,
choice.
and sometimes it can play, but it can go very wrong. I did take my wife to see it at the cinema, and she's never gone to the cinema again with me. So it doesn't necessarily play to everybody, but I love that movie so much.
Great choice. Now, the twist, of course, given the subject of your film, you've got all these people around, you're sitting down to watch the Mouth of Madness, the drinks are
Yeah.
flowing. What would be the worst creature to break in with rabies and ruin your night?
War. I mean, I could not be more scared of chimpanzees. Like, I do not understand why anybody would keep a chimpanzee as a pet. Like, that to me is insane. They are, I mean, they are so scary, way more than sharks or crocodiles or anything. Chimpanzees, I mean, like the things that they've done. No, so
Yeah,
that I'm not
exactly.
having any chimpanzees break into my house and steal my 4K of In the Mouth Madness. They are.
They're not, it's not happening.
It's
We
not.
are you're gonna be digging a moat
Yeah,
before they
yeah, yeah,
before
yeah,
they before you start the film.
yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Johannes, thank you so much for spending a bit of time with us. Thank you for everyone who is listening along. Thanks to, of course, our old mate Taj Easton for our theme music, Rusty Quill and Acast for hosting the show. We will see you all next time. Thank you so much.
Been a pleasure.